Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the break, and welcome back to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2024. My name is Jaypeg. I am your host. We are well into an absolutely incredible horror block, and I am just feeling the love from all of you as you're sending in these amazing donations to our charity CARE. Now, if you're wondering what CARE is, CARE works around the globe to save lives, defeat poverty, and achieve social justice. We seek a world of hope, inclusion, and social justice where poverty has been overcome and all people live with dignity and security. Founded in 1945, today CARE works in 110 countries, focusing on girls and women in their efforts because they are disproportionately affected by poverty and are the key to fighting it. And you all have raised, $731 for CARE so far. Y'all are absolutely knocking it out of the park, and we are so grateful for everything that you have been sending in. Now, we do have some things open for this next run, Alone in the Dark, specifically a poll to choose Emily's costume between the original 1992 and the remake. But as a reminder, we do also have that target open to upgrade to the Black Goat ending of this game. So $431 has been raised for that out of the 500 needed. Y'all are knocking this out of the park, but remember, we got to get that ending before we get to the end of this game. It's time. It's go time. Seriously. So we are going to make this happen. I believe in all of you. I want to see it happen. Let's make sure that we race BigScared to the end of this. Now, I've been sitting here alone on the host mic, maybe, but I have some incredible runner and commentator to welcome back as our little musical chair switch was done. So we are going to jump back into Alone in the Dark with the incredible BigScared running and Astrid the Horror Girl on comms. When you are both ready, the floor or the darkness is all yours.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Jay. Hello. You may remember me as BigScared. I am still BigScared, and we are back to celebrate a special little time of day known as the dark. We're going to be alone in it together, and I'm so excited to be here on this journey with you. I'm joined by my comrade in arms, Astrid. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, I am AstridTheHorrorGirl. It's been a long time since I've been here doing Lady Arcader's Super Showcase. And I'm happy to be back, especially with someone who I also haven't seen in so long, BigScared.
I know, it's been 84 years, and I'm so glad that we could collab again.
Me too.
Now, I heard rumors that we have updates on the incentives. Can you tell me which costume we're going to be running as today?
I sure can. We are going to be running as the original 92.
Nice, chat. Congratulations. Here's your preview of how glorious they are. Because this game is the way it is, I want to be transparent about the fact that because we will be playing as Emily, we're only going to see Emily throughout the run in this form. So take in Carnby while you can. We're going to get another peek of him as we get into this. Time does not start immediately. I will count us out when we get in there, but for now we're just gonna get into it, and don't forget we have until the end of the run to unlock the upgrade to the Black Goat ending. So if you want to see me fight the final boss, we've got a little bit of time to get there, and I would love to see it happen. Now, time is gonna start when the chapter 1 title card hits. So I'm gonna select Emily, I'm gonna skip a cutscene, which means time will be starting in about 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Let's go indeed.
Now you'll notice almost immediately that I'm doing a very specific movement technique. Astrid, would you like to talk about the power of lunges?
Absolutely. So here you will be able to see throughout the run, basically as the whole thing goes. BigScared is going to be having Emily do this lunge forward, which is the dodge. You can point it in different directions, but it's a dodge. That's what it's intended to be. And you just get a little boost of speed each time, and since you can kind of chain them together, it's actually the fastest that you can go in the game. You have to be a little bit careful with it, though, because once you're going a direction, you're going that direction. And you can't course correct in the middle of it. So you want to give yourself a good straight path forward once you commit to doing these little lunges.
Yes, and that is especially true with regard to forward momentum. You might notice that at certain points I will stop lunging because it is more prudent to just take the 2 steps forward than it is to try and get that distance covered by lunging. And that's because if you lunge too far forward, Emily will simply bounce off of what you're trying to interact with, and we're going to try to avoid that as much as possible.
It is also worth noting that obviously this costume is great. This costume is wonderful, but this costume's collision, its hitbox is wild. Emily's hips, I'm afraid to say that in this costume they do lie, they do deceive, and that is the unfortunate reality of running with this costume. But you just got to be a little bit more careful when going around corners.
Yeah. You might have noticed that the costume choice has a fun little vibe to it, but there's also strategic advantages to either sort of approach you take. Astrid runs with the modern costume, which I am convinced corners better and has a little bit more precision in the forward momentum. I prefer the polygonal model because look at her. But the catch-22 here is that she handles like a Buick from the 80s. Which is to mean she doesn't. She's got all forward thrust and handles to the corner really poorly. And so I will do much more strategic, like, forward thrusts as opposed to trying to take corners using the dodge mechanic.
What's nice about constantly dodging is monsters like this one, they hit for either very little for hitting you in a mid-dodge, or they don't hit at all, usually, because you're always dodging.
Now, I pick up a very special item here. It is a hand axe. Would you like to talk a little bit about why we need this hand axe so early in the run?
Absolutely. Later in the run, coming up and throughout it, you're going to see techniques where BigScared is just swinging an axe wildly. There's a reason for this. It is because there's moments where there's scripted times where Emily gets scared and she like lunges back and has to like look around before she's comfortable going on, or she gets in some mud and has to carefully walk through it, or she has to like look around and the game makes you do this like look around animation, which is slow. If you are swinging an axe, you aren't doing any of those things. You are not stopped, you are not stalled, you are not slower, you are swinging an axe, and therefore can just go forward.
And the different melee objects in the game have different values by which you propel yourself forward. So the hand axe has a really quick swing, but a short step. You'll notice that I make the choice about halfway through the run to drop the hand axe in preference of a sledgehammer. And the reason why I do that is because while there is time loss in picking it up, and the swing is slower, the step she takes while swinging is significantly longer. And so for me, that trade-off is worth it. Other people disagree because they have their own personal preferences. That one is just mine.
Can I jump in really quick with a very, very special announcement?
Of course.
We have met the incentive to upgrade the ending.
Let's go!
The Black Goat ending. So thank you so much, y'all. Thank you, Zokubun, for rounding that donation out. And that also brings us to $800 total raised for care. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. While we sort of wade through this mudslinging and axe, is there any sort of donations you'd like to share with us?
That would be our main one. So thank you so much, Zokubun, for sending that in. Basically nailing that in one. However, we do have 2 polls open right now as a reminder, that is to name Ness's special PK ability in Earthbound, which is going to be coming up, or name Ness's favorite food in Earthbound. The special PK ability that is in the lead is swag, and the favorite food right now is bones. We did also, and this is actually a tomorrow incentive, put up a target for the Metal Kirby's candy-infused final boss in Kirby Squeak Squad. So that is a $100 to meet that. If you have not seen Kirby Squeak Squad, it's super duper cute. I love saying that as something on the screen is squeaking. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Big, for the assist on that. I know you're busy, but thank you for that. So we did open that incentive as well. Do remember that you can select a target as well as a goal at the same time. More bang for your buck in your donations.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just used a bucket and some water to retrieve a piece of a broken emblem medallion. It's a little bit tricky to try and actually describe what that object is, but they are essentially puzzle pieces that we're going to be inputting into a wide variety of objects throughout the map. The first one is this grandfather clock at the top of the stairs, but before we can do that, we need to collect one more piece. I like to think of this portion of the game as the puzzles rewarding you with more puzzles segment, because really that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be solving puzzles in order to solve other puzzles, in order to solve other puzzles. But the fun part of it is because all of these have fixed sort of solutions, we can skip at least 2 of the puzzles in this sequence. Namely, one where you would have to go grab a bunch of bottles and then put them in order, which can be extremely time-consuming. But now that we have our final piece for this grandfather clock, we can simply input the puzzle pieces. I'm going to focus for a moment while I do this. Astrid, if you want to talk about what these mechanisms are doing, that'd be great.
I just want to also give a shout out to chat who has described this as, you've unlocked a puzzle. So thank you.
Yes.
The little surface that is there is a place where you can put your talisman. That talisman, where it is sitting, where it resides, where it is, basically is what shifts you from going from one place to another. Now we're in a different place, another existence, another dream. A dream that our Uncle Jeremy is having right now.
Yeah, Jeremy's an interesting character. He's the whole reason why we're here. Do you want to expound upon that a little bit more?
Yes, Uncle Jeremy. He is, in fact, the reason we are here, yes. Basically, Derceto, the mansion that we exist in this whole game at, the reason we came is because, well, our uncle is there. Derceto is a home for people who are in need of mental help. And as he is resting there, Emily has kept in close contact, but now he's suddenly disappeared. So, knowing that sanitariums and such were the way that they were in the 1920s, Emily hires a private investigator to go with her to see why Jeremy isn't talking to her anymore. And the thing is, Jeremy's having a bit of a mind adventure right now, going off and imagining escapes. Escapes from what? You will see.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to fall out this window. Don't worry about it too much. And this is my nemesis, this particular gate, because Emily likes to turn around and try to fight the enemies. But I don't want to fight the enemies. I want to fight the fence, so that way I can get through here as quick as possible. Unfortunately, I did get spat on, so it made her turn around and defend herself a little bit, but we're through pretty quickly on that. We're gonna do this again, dodging various enemies. Now, I promised you some debatable bones. Those are gonna be coming up soon, but the question that I want you to keep in mind when we debate these bones is, who's a good boy? Because it's gonna be in relation to a really cool dog.
I love your lead in on this, just so you know. I'm thrilled.
It's a really good dog. But first we gotta climb this tower. Don't worry about the fire. It's no big deal. The oil rig is ablaze, but we have the power of anime on our side. And I accidentally clicked the wrong button, so we're just gonna take a tour of the fire again.
That's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
We just want to show our cool balance beam abilities.
Yeah, I'm giving you a premium look at this costume that y'all unlocked and demanded.
Yeah.
Observe the polygons.
Like $125 were raised in the discussion of whether or not we would see this. So you're welcome, everybody. Thank you for donating.
Isn't she lovely? Okay, now we're up here. I'm gonna grab that item for later because we will need it for our final boss fight. I'm also gonna grab this rag, which will give us a handy dandy escape out of the blaze. And I promised you a very good boy. I'm also gonna ask, is he Bones? The answer may surprise you, and I'm curious what you think, Jay. What do you think?
Oh, what is that? That's a good boy. Oh,
He's a pretty cool dog, isn't he?
That's a really cool dog. You know, I think that he has bones, so I think that he fits.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're visible bones, except that, you know, maybe those things on his head. I didn't get a good look. The game is shockingly dark. So I didn't get that close of a look. But yeah, I'm in camp, good boy.
Yeah. We've arrived at a location with a very fun name. This is the Hateful Mound. Don't worry about it because we're back in Derceto.
The Hateful Mound, or what I call the stack of laundry that needs to be done at this current moment in time.
Yes. The fun thing about going to the Hateful Mound is that it gave me a cake knife that I can now use to open doors. So we're just going to open this door, grab the key to the cellar, and then we're not going to immediately go to the cellar. We're going to go upstairs and around to go get some more pieces of puzzle so that way when we get to the cellar, we're ready to solve the puzzle that's down there.
What shop? It worked.
Now, Astrid, would you like to talk about some of the other colorful characters that are here in Derceto?
There is a colorful cast of characters that are all here. One of my favorites, we actually skip the cutscene, is this wonderful lesbian woman in a green dress, and she's great, and I love her. And there's also Grace, who is this young child that is around. The normal ending that both me and BigScared go for is known as the Grace ending because it directly involves her. There's also, if I may, there's a fun note in there when it's talking about our friendly lesbian in the green dress, is that the doctor notes that she's here because of like sexual deviancy, but the doctor goes, I actually don't think there's anything wrong, and she can just stay here as long as she wants. It's fine. And
yeah, she's perfect.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to read.
Right, we're here in the cellar. I want to warn you now, we're about to be alone in the dark.
Oh,
I know,
no.
in a game like this, it's more likely than you think.
Guess this works too.
Now, because this is a survival horror game, you'll notice it has a lot of the same pastiches in terms of like critical tools. We've got a valve handle, we've got bolt cutters that we used earlier, we've got keys and key items. Just the whole gang is here. You know who else is here? Our Uncle Jeremy. Does he look okay?
I think that Uncle Jeremy is budding with excitement.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just got a bad case of the barnacles. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's true.
It's perfectly normal.
Another one of those plates for the talisman.
More
All right, I'm gonna focus here. If there's anything you'd like to share with chat, now's a phenomenal time.
I would like to say hello to our wonderful raiders that popped in. We're super duper happy to see you. Welcome to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2024. If you did not know that's what you were jumping into, you are here. We are on a horror block, so we are playing some scary games, and we hope that you enjoy because they've been all bangers. And just as a fun fact for you, our wonderful commentator right now just ran Ruiner and absolutely crushed it. So you've got kind of a 2-for-1 deal going on right now.
Yes. And now that we have used our talisman again, we have shifted realities. We are here in a graveyard of all places. Still looking for Jeremy because even though he was right there, now he isn't. Like a true magician. And our key item this time is these lovely medallions. We're gonna need to gather 3 of them throughout the area while navigating various labyrinths. Here is my best friend, the sledgehammer.
Yeah. Big steps.
She's beautiful. There's our final destination, but first we gotta go get the other 2 medallions.
Once again, you're gonna see BigScared in here go into the water, taking some big steps through the water now. One of the trickiest parts here is coming up. BigScared's gonna try not to engage with this enemy, but go around.
Got it.
Perfect. Really, really good. Because sometimes that guy gets in a really frustrating spot, and Emily insists on turning and getting in an awkward place with that guy. It's not the business.
That enemy in particular has really squirrely movement. Sometimes they'll literally just stand there and let you walk past them. Sometimes they'll rush you like halfway through that patch of water and you have to fight them. Because if they get behind you, she's just gonna keep turning around. Emily, please. This man is so rude today.
Mm-hmm. The audacity, to be honest.
I know. It's alright. This man simply said, we're gonna raise more money for care. We're gonna give you more marathon. Even if it's a few moments. I'm gonna swing here because this friend will stun us briefly if we don't. I'm gonna grab all the supplies and then move on out. And then we just tank this fire.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a couple points where I do this.
Now, I've heard that that's not applicable to real life, but fire can't actually stop you. It just hurts a little bit. So, just note that.
All right, we threw our... Don't worry about that. That's just a thing that happens. For those of you who are curious about this game, it had a development update a couple weeks ago that made some really fun things happen, including a major patch that removed some of the any % PC strats, and some fun new bugs, like that particular one where the autosave does not go to the cloud. Don't panic, we still have an autosave should anything go wrong. It's just a dialogue box that pops up.
You know, just to give you like a little bit of like a different kind of horror in your horror game.
Yes. And for those of you who are familiar with the other games that I speedrun, you may already know, yes, this is a THQ game. The makers of Biomutant made this. So if you're wondering why I run this, there you go.
You know,
I also credit Astrid for it because she's the one that invited me to her couch here on Lady Arcaders, and we're having our nice little full circle moment.
yeah, and I think I believe that I also did post that watched this happen live and watched Astrid sell you on this game.
Yes.
Literally wanted literally wanted BigScared to be there because I was like, listen, you're actually gonna like this speedrun. I'll just show it to you.
Hear me out.
Hear me out works, okay? Hit your friends with hear me out energy. Maybe you'll pick up a speedrun or two. But in the meantime, we have to go to a very special place called Tarawea. Terrawea doesn't technically exist in the lore of the game. It is another place that is invented, but this time it was not necessarily invented by Jeremy. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that, Astrid?
Yes. Terrawea is a place that Jeremy read about in a book. And it was written by this one Spanish author that he really appreciated. And he thought that it was a really picturesque, wonderful place. And so Jeremy imagined that. And he thought that that place, being a place that was made by somebody else, would be the perfect place to hide. And so decided to hide his greatest treasure over there. Well, to get to Terrawea, we're gonna have to find it. And only one way to do that, and that's to look through that telescope and go to the star chart and get this animation I actually have not seen. It's a little bit different on console. How interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to do a fun little trick where you can break out of that and have her just glide around the room, but I didn't hit the pixel perfect cancel on that. So we did get stuck inside the animation a little bit. Now, because this game really likes to make us wander around, we do have to traverse the entire mansion, which means this is a great opportunity to share information with chat. Jay, if you got anything, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you did hear us mention this funny thing called attract mode earlier. And in case you are wondering what that is that we were mentioning and how we ended up here in this wonderful full circle moment, Lady Arcaders runs small events throughout the year as part of a series called Attract Mode. So it is on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. and Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern to catch talented Lady Arcaders showing off amazing games. And if you have a showcase that you would like to show off to the world, you that are watching, yes you, I mean you can submit your idea to Attract Mode. You're welcome to submit any type of showcase, as long as it's game related, you want to go fast, show off an Animal Crossing town, paint a mural, compose some music, bake a video game like Pi, want to show off your game dev skills even, so you can visit ladyarcaders.com for more details on that. And just a reminder, we are still fundraising for CARE, and if you would like to donate, you can go ahead and type !donate in chat for that link, and we thank you so much. We have raised $800, and it is only our first day of the marathon. Y'all are absolutely knocking it out of the park. Thank you so much.
All right, we are here in Terrawea. You'll notice I did an animation skip. Ashley, do you want to talk about why?
Yeah, because normally you go in there and Emily goes, whoa, and looks at everything, and Emily slowly walks forward, taking in the scenery. But if you swing Sledgehammer, that reminds Emily, we don't have time for that. This is speedrun. Come on, we're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And now, it is time.
Yes, for the Dark Man. Or as I like to call him, the Fart Man. Because he's just hanging out. And I think you'll understand why I call him this in this moment.
Yeah. So obnoxious, too. The Dark Man does not notice Emily, really. Is just kind of like hanging out, doing library stuff, flatulating all over the place, but this isn't like a pursuit area. The Fart Man is just hanging out, honestly. Just chilling and hanging out, but his, the steam that he is emitting is incredibly bad for us, and if we get inside that cloud too deeply, it drains our health and it can kill us. So we do have to avoid him while he's just checking out the library here. There used to be some speed tech where you could sneak past him to get to the ladder, but it's extremely dangerous. So what BigScared is gonna do here is just kind of like wait for the Fart Man to pass and then go in to the area, drop the ladder, and then finish with this little section.
Yeah, and you'll notice that I healed myself before coming in here because passing by him put me at such a low health state that if I didn't do that before entering that room, I would have absolutely died, and we would have had to redo this entire sequence here in Terrawea. The fart man is silent, but he is incredibly deadly. And the closer you get to him, the more volatile he is. It's incomprehensible. I adore him, but just, you don't want to make friends with him. You don't want to spend time with him, and you definitely don't want to be trapped in this elevator with him.
Very true. Right now, Emily is getting a specific book to recount what exactly was this dark man business about. And with that, it has directed us to this place called Prebst Shipping Company. Don't really know why we're here, but there's something that has to do with the first time that Jeremy met the Dark Man in real life. And so we are here. We have been transported here by our lesbian friend in the green dress. So
yes,
very kind of her to take us to this place.
And there are some astute folks in chat that did point out, yes, there are bones. Gamers, I promised you friend-shaped enemies. Here they are. Some of these friends are a little bit more aggressive than others. You'll notice that some of them have a lumbering posture. Those are going to come from down below. But then there's some that really just want to give you a hug. And you don't want that to happen, gamers, because if this friend here grabs you and gives you a hug, it's a whole animation that takes several seconds to break loose from, and it's deeply unpleasant. It also makes a horrible sound that I would rather not subject anyone to. So we're just gonna jazzercise our way out of here and into the sewers.
I love that description. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna also use the sledgehammer to get maximum distance coverage during these forced walking segments here in the sewer. I'm also gonna use it to animation cancel that heal. And then there is one enemy here we're gonna have to bully our way past. If I get lucky, they'll go, let me buy in 3, which we did.
Excellent.
And then another 2 or 3 across this, and we'll be able to get up the ladder. If we had really good enemy positioning there, there's a way with the sledgehammer to down that particular enemy with 1 hit and just run past. But it happens so rarely that sometimes I am convinced that it came to me in a dream.
Dude can be very spicy too. If you don't get the hits on, he comes out swinging. And if you get hit by that, it just pushes you backwards, and it's an awkward place to be because the recovery frames for your animation there are gnarly.
Yeah. You might notice that I picked up a very special weapon here. Would you like to talk a little bit about why we need this gun and not the shotgun we passed earlier?
So when you grab the shotgun from earlier, what that does is it spawns more enemies and creates more delays for us. So we just ignore the shotgun, largely because the machine gun is right there. It does not add more enemies to the game, but what it does do is for enemies and the boss fight that we will have to do near the end of the game, it just ends them. It just successfully just shreds through things, much like the shotgun would do, but this can already do it. And as you have seen, we're not exactly fighting most of the enemies in this game, so having an extra weapon is not really useful, especially when it just slows you down. This one, however, very useful, and we will use it later.
Yes. And the whole reason we went to Prebst Shipping Company was to get the address for this specific location, which is where Jeremy met the Dark Man. Say hi to Jeremy. There he is. There he goes.
Hi,
but
Jeremy.
the Dark Man is a very specific type of performer. He's a magician. Put a 1 in chat if you like magicians. This man is special. And he put a dark curse on the whole town that Jeremy feels responsible for solving. But he also feels conflict about it. And that's part of the reason why he's running away. Now, that being said, we are about to break into the Dark Man's home. Would anyone like to go to the beach with me?
Me, pick me.
I'm picking you because we're here at the beach.
Beautiful. This is a very cozy beach. Nothing threatening here whatsoever.
Yeah, not ominous at all. Never mind the eclipse moon happening there, or the obelisk, or the hole in the ground that we're definitely not going to be climbing into in a minute. Just gotta check in over here at base camp and get a special item. Survival horror enthusiasts may recognize that we will be picking up a rope.
Ah. That can only mean one thing is about to happen.
Friendship?
This is where I think that, you know, if Emily was just brave like other horror protagonists, would just jump in the hole. Why not? But Emily, no, has to do it the safe way and lowers a rope down there and everything. So, you want me to talk about this, Big?
Absolutely. Please take it away.
This is simultaneously a moment of being in a puzzle and being in a survival horror situation. What you're going to see BigScared doing is basically a couple things. 1, pulling some levers to turn on some lights. 2, redirecting those lights. And 3, putting these little emblems and the statues to redirect the lights to begin with. Once those lights are redirected, these doors will open. And this used to be a little bit slower, but there's actually a method that you can do to make this a little bit faster and clear your way a lot earlier, because like you saw, those open doors, well, we can get to one place before we even have to open a door. So first, BigScared is going to get this trigger right here, opening that door over there, but it's going to immediately put it back to rest on that statue there. And come over to this wall, which just seems like a wall, but what's holding it up is some wood on the other side, which there's no collision on that wall for the weapon, so the weapon can actually reach through and just demolish it like you saw there. And they look like boards like this, so we're actually skipping a whole process to be able to get down into this area, and it saves quite a bit of time. And it's a neat little trick, and it was one of the things that when I showed this run to BigScared I was most excited to show off, because this place is actually really frustrating.
Yeah, and you might notice that we have some flying friends in here. I mentioned earlier that there was a very fun dev update not too long ago. This particular segment of the game was impacted by that update. Not only are there more bats, the bats that are here are slightly more aggressive, and they're much more likely to try to grab you. And so just the spice has been turned up a little bit.
Right now, BigScared is on the way to do the other 2 beams that need to be directed to the statue. Here comes the first one. This one doesn't have to unlock any door, it can just point directly at the statue. The last one BigScared does not have yet, so descending down these steps, that is where BigScared is going to get it. And this is where things can get a little bit tricky. We just gotta hope that the enemies don't become super spicy in this particular area, because...
Oh, we've got friends.
Yeah.
Don't grab me. Don't do it.
Oh, it didn't do the thing.
It didn't do the thing! Okay, it's fine. Because the laser will end our friends.
Yeah.
So the fun thing about this particular sequence is if you get the lasers in the right placement, they will clear the path for you. And what I'm going to try to do with this final laser is take out as many bats as I can while opening this door. Unfortunately, none of them lined up, so we only got the one. But we're just going to mosey on out of here before they crowd up.
And now, BigScared is at the end of this little segment where they have to get to the top of the statue, direct one more beam to unlock this little hole in the ground, this little trapdoor, if you will. And once that happens, the place is going to start collapsing down around, which, good news is, the bats mostly go away. The bad news is some other enemies are going to spawn as well that are going to try to stop BigScared from progressing. So this is basically just a race to not get grabbed by anything and go down to that little trapdoor.
Yeah, and part of the reason why it was so important to skip such a large segment of this area by opening the doors early is so that way you don't have to deal with as many of these enemies. Because if you don't actually progress as intended, fewer things spawn in this area, and it actually allows you to sequence break very lightly.
As speedrunners, we love sequence breaks.
Big, I would just like to say that someone is pointing out that you actually are very, very good with archaic laser defenses. Perhaps some knowledge of like prismic science from some other things that you do, maybe. Yeah.
All of those reps in the chant have paid off here alone in the dark because I can manipulate light via crystal beams. It's true. It's incredibly powerful of me. Thank you for noticing. This is my least favorite chapter of the game, but it is also one of the most memeable because we are going to be entering the bayou eventually. But first we have to do a few things along the way. We have to navigate Derceto some more. We have to collect some items. Now's a really good time to update chat on anything that you think is important to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to tell y'all a little bit more about our amazing charity, CARE. So CARE invests 9 out of every $10 directly into programs. Your investment not only meets immediate needs, but goes towards lasting solutions in the 110 countries and counting that CARE operates in, working alongside women and girls to defeat poverty and achieve gender justice. They are truly an incredible charity. We are so happy to be fundraising for them, and you have raised $800 for CARE just today alone, and this is a 4-day event. So look at how far you have already come, and just think of how much we can raise together. If you yourself would like to donate, you can type !donate in chat or scan that nifty QR code that you can see on the screen. Those are two of the amazing ways that you can give your money. And by donating, you can donate to any of our polls or current targets.
Thank you, Jay. I have to tell you about my favorite sequence break in this game. This is the thing that sold me on running this game, and I want to thank you, Astrid, for pointing this out to me. But I also want to hyper-focus on this for a bit, because as we mentioned earlier, the Fart Man is incredibly dangerous when you get close to him. Would you like to explain what we're doing in this hallway?
Absolutely. Right here is a scripted moment where Emily has to stand still to behold the Dark Man at the end of the hall. BigScared is going to try and squeeze on past, did it, to get into this room that normally you cannot get into. And it is not an easy little squeeze because, like I said about that momentum that you get from the dodge, it can just thrust you into the Dark Man. You touch the Dark Man, that's over. You immediately lose. So that was very well done, doing the little break right there. Going through, because that door, you can't go in. It's shut. If you just let that little scene play out where Emily has to stand still and watch the Dark Man come out. But swing a hammer, you don't got to worry about it.
And I do want to point out that that final pivot past the Dark Man into the hallway is really difficult in this costume because we have so much forward momentum that unless you know exactly which angle to take it at, you're really much more likely to fly into his arm where he will just one-shot you.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we have been transported to a painful memory. We are here in the trenches of World War I looking for our husband, John.
This is something that, for some reason, we found something that was like, the Dark Man doesn't want to give us what we want, which is to get our Uncle Jeremy out of the contract that he's in with the Dark Man, until I experience something painful. That is the whole thing that Emily is going through. So This is a specific memory that the Dark Man is inflicting upon Emily right now to basically just be, oh, you want to help your uncle? Well, how about you suffer for a little bit? The troubling thing about this are these puppies.
Yeah, our friend is back. And
He's
this
barking.
section is intended to be a stealth sequence. You notice that there's various cubbies that I'm just sort of running past. But because of the way momentum is set up, we can just sort of thrust our way past them, just effortlessly, as long as we take the right pathing.
It can
This
be
next
a
one
little
is
bit
the
tricky.
spicy one.
Yeah. What, this, sometimes it can be bad, but going through here, one always tries to jump. Good job.
Nice.
If you stay a little bit to the left, you can usually avoid it, but even then, it's not 100% guaranteed. It usually helps to just make sure that you're on the left side when you round that corner, but it was just enough, as you saw with that jump. So great job on that, BigScared.
This one's also a little risky because you got to break down a fence while it's coming at you from behind. And so if you don't get through it quickly, it will just jump on you. But luckily, that particular movement is easier than the one before it. We're going to have to deal with Dodging Puppy one more time. That's significant. So we're not out of this yet. But we are also going to get a chance to pet that dog at the end of this. So I hope you're ready.
We did, it's the animal block continues. We had bunnies and chinchillas, and then we had puppy, and now we have another type of cool dog.
True.
Yeah.
There's a theme here tonight. Did you expect horror block to be this cozy? I mean, I did. That's kind of required, in my opinion. But
So right now, BigScared's right at the end and tries the door. One of those puppies spawns. We're gonna go pet it.
Yeah, we got to go pet that dog.
There
It's
we
going
go.
to leap directly into our arms, and then the sequence is more or less over. Feel free to say goodbye to the puppy. This is the last time we'll see it for this particular run of the game.
bye, buddy.
But it was the bestest boy we had.
What a good
And
boy.
oh, look. There's a very fun thing happening over here. I wonder what happens when we check it out.
What you can see is basically Emily's fiance launching into the stratosphere, and there's a whole little crater from him launching up, and he just goes to be with his people in space. Did that all the way before Neil Armstrong and everything. Just took off, launched, absolutely launched. This puzzle is 2. Good job.
Yeah, the solution is simply 2. Now, this locker on the floor is my nemesis. Because of the way the collision on this particular costume is set up, I have gotten stuck on that locker so many times that I always take a wide berth on it for safety. We're just going to do a little map puzzle here. Don't worry about it. Beautiful.
Very good. So
I love this one.
I want to note something that makes Emily's route a bit unique. When she, right now, she's actually in the basement of Derceto. Her little flashback takes her directly here, which makes her route faster than Carnby's, because Carnby also has a flashback scene that he has to do, but his flashback scene doesn't end him up in the basement of Derceto. So we actually skipped quite a bit of the game by going directly down there and having to deal with this now. Carnby, it's not so easy with Carnby. You have to actually do his scene when it is intended to be done. And that's kind of the way that it works, and that's why Emily is a little bit faster.
Now we get a little moment of Uncle Jeremy yelling about the dark heart of the bayou, which will, unfortunately, be one of our next stops. But first, we have to reward ourselves with puzzles that reward ourselves further with more puzzles. This solution is 1, 2, 4. For the longest time, I thought this needed to be entered in any particular order. No, you can just go left to right. And then we have a very fun X-ray puzzle.
This puzzle for casual play is like the bane of every casual player's existence, because it doesn't like help you. It just tells you, here's some brain, figure it out, and you're supposed to make that exact thing that BigScared did. How are you supposed to know that? I don't understand, but yeah.
Yeah, and the reward is a statue of Jeremy's brain worms, which is
Yeah.
probably my favorite thing about this game. I'm not even gonna lie.
I would like a statue of my brain worms, personally.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because we are here in the dark heart of the bayou, it is coming for us, and we need to make another quick escape up this winding staircase that has suddenly spawned barrels for reasons.
Yes. Why not?
We needed to have something to knock out of the way.
True. This whole part is a race to the top before the water overtakes you, and for speedrunning it's pretty simple, but it's a panic in casual play.
Yeah. And I think it's also worth noting that it is very possible to clip out of bounds in that stairwell and just get stuck in a position above the water as it fills in and be unable to come back out.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very fun. Here's our brain worms.
Nice.
And it gives us a puzzle solution right there. We're gonna drop into this beautiful hole that we're getting a vision of because it is conveniently located right behind us.
Yep, and we get the best line of the game.
Yes. I'm stuck in the mud and the bayou is taking me.
Can you hear me?
So good.
I'll get the boat running. I'll get you out.
You know, that actor had a good time saying that line.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely chewing on the scenery.
That's nice to you. Oh, thank goodness. That little enemy has a tendency to insist that you get stuck over. Sometimes you end up getting rubber banded back just so that you can deal with him, and it's frustrating. I'm glad that that didn't happen there.
This whole segment when you're here in the bayou is riddled with chronic rubber banding. And so if you hit the angle just wrong, if you get stuck on the wrong collision when an enemy pops up in front of you, when you swing your axe the wrong way, it will like to throw you out of bounds and also inside of things. And also, sometimes when you go out of bounds or inside of things, it launches you into a different part of the game where you're not in this vision anymore, but you're still on the boat. And that's very fun to experience. I totally never experienced that at all. It doesn't happen often.
Cool.
Yeah, totally cool. But in the meantime, the job that we need to do here is fuel up the boat to get out of here. So we need a gas can, we need to fill it up with gas, and then we need to start the engine that will definitely totally work even though it's here stuck in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes. If one is stuck in the mud with any vehicle, simply turn it on and get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you literally tried turning it off and then on again?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, once again, we need to make a hasty exit. This time we're going to be serpentining past various bug enemies and around the boat. It's a good moment. If you have anything you want to share with us, we have a little time.
Sure thing. If you are wondering what we are doing here, maybe you just tuned in. This is the Lady Arcader Super Showcase, a charity talent showcase running from July 25th, today, until the 28th, benefiting CARE. The Super Showcase features a bunch of talented women and femmes showing off games that they love, just like this one. Make sure to tune in throughout this weekend like we said, we're going to be here all weekend. And tell your friends, share our posts on social media. I don't know if you've seen our social media posts going off, but those are so great and so funny. And if you're really enjoying this too, did you know that you could potentially purchase a Super Showcase t-shirt? And that will be donated towards care. $5 from every Super Showcase t-shirt will be donated towards care. You can support the charity and get a fun shirt for your collection. You can type !merch into the chat for our link to our shop, or visit ladyarcaders.com/shop to check it out. And if you haven't seen it yet, it is a super cute design. I have the one from last year, and you know I will be picking one up this year as well.
All right, I am hoping that we're not going to rubber band back onto this boat. Because sometimes when you come through that sequence, a very fun thing happens where you rubber band all the way from Derceto back into the bayou.
Yeah, that's really fun. Thankfully, did not.
It did not. I also want to point out this hallway in particular, because there is now a New Game Plus mode in this game. And you get a fun little Easter egg where the Dark Man shows up there, but only in that mode. In the meantime, we get to deal with a third-person perspective?
Ooh!
Yeah, this is the, as a fan, I appreciate the fan service of this moment being the fixed camera, while you do this little section that is here, and very clearly, very obviously to fans of the original 1992 game, this game was made for the fans, and it was intended to be a remake that could make the fans specifically happy. So a lot of times people will point out, well, it's not exactly like the Resident Evil remakes, and I'm like, well, I honestly don't think that this game was made to be like this huge thing for getting people into the franchise. As much as it was, this is a thing specifically made to be some updated fan service for its fans first and foremost.
We're going to get a fun little call here from Jeremy. Once again, he's going to chew the scenery, so we're just going to enjoy this.
Who's there? Jeremy?
Jeremy's with the Dark Man. You can't save him.
Jeremy is with the Dark Man? Where? Who is he? What is the Dark Man?
The Heartblood curse. He will come for you too.
So good. Such a
Yes.
strong delivery.
Cool. And then the clock explodes.
Yeah, that's just normal clock things, though. We don't worry
Uh-huh.
about that too much.
Yeah. When you are on the phone, sometimes clocks explode. Everyone has experienced this. So,
Yeah. Now, one of the greatest lines in the entire game.
Telephone ring, right?
Because Carby cannot see what we see. So while we see a portal here in this closet, he does not. And his reaction is gonna, let us know.
Hey,
Amazing.
Mr. Carnby? Nothing, right?
It's a closet.
That's right, Detective. I'll see you later. I have to finish this.
You're going inside the closet.
I know it's much less justified.
Alright. Do what you have to do, miss.
It's like, whatever, I don't get it, but you're good.
yeah, it's fine.
It's fine, don't worry about it. And of course, because for us it's a portal, it actually takes us somewhere. Do you want to talk a little bit about where we are and why we're here?
Yes, we have once again entered into another one of Jeremy's worlds that has been created. This one is based upon an exploration that he read about, where people attempting to find a passage, I believe the Northwest Passage if I remember correctly, stumbled across Greenland. And there it was led by Jonas I forget. And that is someone who the people who went on this expedition, there were reports that they were driven mad up there. Jeremy, in his refusal to conform, no, it's Jacob von something, sorry.
Jacob
anyways,
von Oster something.
Yeah. He sees himself as being that very explorer. So we come to confront Jacob himself, who is getting ready to do some weird stuff with summoning some eldritch being from an existence that we could never know. And it is doing the Dark Man's bidding, and we don't want the Fart Man to get what he wants, so we're here to stop that.
Who are you? What do you want?
Now, in the Grace ending, this would normally be our final boss fight. So once again, I want to thank you all for raising so much money for Care and unlocking the Black Goat ending. This is not going to be the final boss for us, but it is still a very fun boss and also a very screechy boss. So I'm very sorry, headphone users, but we gotta do this.
Good job.
Thank
Easy.
you.
He's a little tricky. He tries to stay in your face, and if he does, he can get some hits on you.
But I've noticed that, at least on this particular version of the game, on this update, if you don't keep the camera focused on him, he will respawn in a different position.
Yep.
Which makes this fight really cumbersome, because you have to keep him close, but not so close that he can smack you with his axe. Because he actually does a lot of damage if he hits you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Unfortunately, he's about to have a transformation and become a special boy.
Tentacle Screech Man.
Yeah, he's got some feelings. I'm just gonna Baja Blast him. Don't worry about it.
Oh, he's wiggling.
Yep.
Look at those arms. Those
Yep,
are
those
spaghetti arms.
Those noodle arms literally do half of your HP and damage. So, and they have reach, a lot more reach than one would expect. And they have a couple effects they can do to you. One, kill you. Another is, if you're Astrid, you can be soft locked by them too.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really fun about this fight is that the item spawning in the arena are also RNG. And so sometimes it just doesn't give you rifle ammo, or it won't give you a heal. And so he'll be forcing you to use your pistol on 1 pixel of health. And that's very mean. But luckily, we had a pretty good time with him. Now, this is where the final choice of the game is made. Here, we are at a very special party where we're going to meet a very special lady. Astrid, do you want to talk about the Black Goat of the Woods?
So, the Black Goat of the Woods is an ancient one, a deity that basically allowed everyone here to exist peacefully and to be protected against an oncoming apocalypse. It would spare all of them should they give sacrifices to them. Well, that sacrifice was about to happen. We stopped it from happening, so the Black Goat goes, well, screw you too then. I guess none of y'all are safe from my apocalypse I'm about to inflict. And it was the tree the whole time in the conservatory.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
And it is worth noting that the thing that Jeremy made the deal with, the reason why he feels pursued at all, is because he was supposed to be the initial sacrifice to the Black Goat. Grace, the young child here, is fulfilling that role in our current context, but she luckily is spared. Here's the Black Goat. Say hi. She's a very special lady.
Very wiggly. If you like these noodly tentacles, go ahead and donate towards Nessa's favorite food, being spaghetti in Earthbound.
Oh my goodness, she's got the spaghetti!
It's got the spaghetti arms.
Now this boss fight is pretty tricky. You want to hit these, much like a Resident Evil boss, you want to hit these little groups of bubbles on the side of him there. or her there, apologies. She is just a very, very bubbly mother. And with all of her sort of tentacles and little bubbles on the side, she gets very angry and she can swing around, and if you're in the wrong place, you can take a lot of damage all of a sudden. It's a tricky little fight.
We mentioned earlier she's the mother of 1,000 hungry young. We're gonna meet some of her kids. Oh, look, it's these guys!
You have a lovely mother. We're very happy to meet her. What a pleasure. We brought a traditional housewarming gift. It's a gun.
It's a gun, it's Molotovs, it's all sorts of stuff. We're just gonna thin the herd a little bit. Because while she's down, she has no bubbles for us to burst. We have to wait for her to get back up. Now this fight ends after she does 2 different ground pound attacks. The first time, she will simply stun us to the ground and the arena will shake. We might get a fun little clipping animation where we go through the floor. Don't worry about that, that's pretty normal, and we should not get soft locked. The second time it happens is when the final animation happens and time will happen. It will be pretty abrupt, so I'm gonna do my best to count it down, but it will still be tricky to pinpoint. In the meantime, we are still gonna be bursting her bubble here. We're also gonna be bursting her kids' bubbles when they show up again, because there will be one more wave of kids. There's the first ground pound.
Nice.
Where's more ammo? I need more ammo. We don't need shotgun shells. A crucifix?
Okay.
Sure.
Why not?
Okay. Why not? So at this point, I need to not get distracted by her children while bursting the rest of these little bubbles on her body. Much like the final boss of Resident Evil 2 Remake, she will go down once we've satisfied the requirement of how many we've bursted. And that's going to be pretty close. And that's there, time.
GG.
Great job.
Thank you.
Beautiful job.
And while this plays out, we get to see the conclusion. The Black Goat of the Woods has been defeated, the world has been saved, and for better or worse, life goes on. We found Jeremy, we've saved Grace, we get to hang out with Carnby, and all the good stuff gets to continue. Thank you so, so much for raising so much money for CARE, specifically the money raised for my run, both for the costume incentive and the ending.
Gang was a cult dedicated to something called the Black Goat of the Woods.
Yeah, if you, yeah, over 600 for your run, or definitely over 500, because of the amazing $500 incentive for the Black Goat and that bid war. So thank y'all so much. We are seeing the results of that bid war still right now.
Yes.
I love that
Isn't she
her flashlight.
lovely?
I love that her flashlight is still modern.
Yeah, and it floats about 3 inches off of her model. Here comes Grace with the most iconic line.
Hey kid, you doing alright?
It wasn't what I expected. Can't always get what you want.
And that's Alone in the Dark 2024. I have been Big Scared. You can find me on the internet as Big Scared and around places as either Big Scared or I'm Big Scared. I run this game and other games that are equally as god tier. And I will be back tomorrow night running Muse Dash here on Lady Arcader's Super Showcase. So make sure that you stay tuned all week. Rumor has it that I might be joining our lovely host on their run later on this weekend.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
And if you don't mind, I would love you both to do full shout-outs, but I do have one final donation to close us out, if that is okay.
Absolutely, hit me with it.
Soulmass218 sends in $10 and says, "I'm stuck in the mud and the bayou is taking me."
Perfect.
The motor is dead. I can't do anything more.
Oh my goodness, I wanted to make sure we all had that moment.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Big, where can we find you?
In addition to all the places that I've mentioned previously, I haunt the Lady Arcader server. You can catch me at Flame Fatales in August. You can catch me over at Binary Breakers. I welcome anyone who is watching this either now or later on as a VOD to reach out. If you identify as non-binary, genderqueer, agender, within, between, outside of the binary, I would love to see you in our spaces, and I would love to talk to you more about that. I also want to give a quick shout out to the Clock Tower stream team for being so supportive, especially towards my speedrunning, and of course, my lovely partner in crime, Astrid, who I could not have done this without.
Our lovely Astrid, where can we find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/AstridTheHorrorGirl. I play horror games and I speedrun horror games. You can also catch me at Flame Fatales. I will be playing Ruiner again. And also, you can catch me playing this in a race against BigScared. So we're just gonna have to see who comes out on top with that race during Flame Fatales.
Yes. We're gonna be settling
console.
a score. PC versus console, which one is faster? So stay tuned for that one.
Ooh, that'll be spicy, y'all. And remember, if you have liked the chemistry between these two, and that is a perfect thing for you to watch, because like we said, we had Ruiner on before this, and they played musical chairs together, so it has just been an absolutely incredible night. Thank you so much to both of you for your time, for these amazing games, and for your gamer skill. I'm so honored and lucky to be here with y'all.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, before I get all emotional about these two wonderful people that I adore so much, we are going to get ready for our next game, which is Earthbound. So don't touch that dial. Maybe get yourself some water, a little stretch break, but don't worry, we will be right back. We'll see you in just a second.